Let's roll. This is Countercharge, your podcast for ranks, flanks, and kings of war. Join your hosts as they delve into the world of Panithor and bring you worldwide coverage of all things Kings of War.
Welcome to Countercharge. I'm Rob Enough.
I'm Matt Croger.
And I am Jeremy Duvall. Welcome! Super excited to have you guys here for the November monthly Fireside Chat. My favorite episode because, as we say, we log on, we chit-chat, we talk. It's not not as much pre-planning, and it's nice just to get up here, talk to you guys about the news of the day, news of the world. And it's a pretty exciting time, a spicy time, right, guys? Lots of thoughts and feelings and emotions as we're getting ready for the 4th edition release. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, all right. Flat out like a lizard drinking, but, going okay. That emotion line, Jeremy, just reminds me of Anchorman or something, I'm in a glass cage of emotion.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh. The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. What did you just say? I'm sauced up like a lizard? What was that?
Oh, no. I'm flat out like a lizard drinking. So
is that what does that mean?
Can you imagine how flat a lizard has to get to drink from directly in front? So it just means I'm very, very busy.
Okay. Now, is that a Crogerism or is that like
no, that's an Australianism.
An Australian? Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I love my Australian slang, man. Yeah. So lots of stuff on the news lately. Everyone is excitedly awaiting 4th edition release. There has been a little bit of some reporting or sighing in the winds, in the ether of the world that maybe some stuff's going to get pushed back or maybe stuff's not going to get released quite on schedule. And I think it's like last week, our last Fireside, we were all about positivity, right? And now it's time for us to put our critique hat on, I think, which is only fair if you're going to be positive about something to keep your authenticity and, your moral character. I think you need to also call out stuff when it's worthy to be called out. But I don't know how about you, Rob, but I am really tired of this whole Mantic shipping versus release date versus we don't know when it's coming out, or it's coming out this day, but we're only shipping to the people who bought it this way, but then we're going to What do you think? Can we just have a release date?
I understand, like with board game companies or even other game companies, like what they're doing is not uncommon. They're just basically saying, this is our best guess, right? Whether that's a street date, whatever. But I think at this point, I'm ready for Mantic to grow up and give us release dates. And maybe I'll clear that up by saying a release date to me is, this is the date that everybody already has it in their hands and they're allowed to sell it, right? That's what Magic does. That's what GW does. That's what all the adults do. And I'm ready. And I understand that it's going to be more work for Mantic, right? Because that means from an operational standpoint, logistically, they have to verify what's coming where's their pack. I'm assuming here they've got parts from China, Poland, UK, Russia, I don't know, but probably all over the world, right? And they've got to logistically track all that out, and they've got to know it's coming to Nottingham so they can pull it together. And at some point when they actually can confirm they're going to have it, and how long it'll take to get them boxed up and all that, they'll know like when it would be available to ship. And then from that, they can project out a release date. I'm ready for that. I just think my local store, like he put in an order and then half the stuff got cut from the order because I don't think it's like originally it was like early December. Maybe it's more mid-December now. I'm not. Another thing, like in this specific example, we don't really know the date. Right now it just says December. So that's a little bit of frustration.
And I get like there's certain things sometimes that are out of Mantic's hands, right? Like let's say they have our intention is to ship on December 15th. But if the company doesn't have the stuff for them, what can Mantic do? Mantic can't. I think it's not necessarily all the blame on them. Like I'm not in their warehouse, I'm not in their distributor or whatever, but this seems to happen every time. That's to me the issue. It's not the one-off like, oh yeah, our distributor was late or this. Anytime they have a big release, there's always confusion and frustration around when people are going to get their stuff. I guess to me, that's the sticking point, is that this is seems to be the rule and not the exception.
while you are 100% right that they're dependent on third party to get them stuff, right? But that's why you give conservative dates, right? You don't be aggressive with the date. And if you want it for a Christmas release, you have that stuff in October in the warehouse. Jeremy, some days it's 2 raccoons, some days it's 3, some days it goes back to 2. I'm ready for them to go to 4 raccoons in a trench coat.
Yeah, I'm like you, and I'm curious what you think, Matt. I want the release date to be, when am I going to have it in my hot little hands? Like, when am I going to have it? When's it going to be on Companion? When am I going to be, going through the book and putting together my new miniature? Like, what is Christmas morning? Don't tell me Christmas morning is on the 24th, and then on the 18th say, well, actually, Christmas morning may be on the 15th of January. We don't know. That, to me, is like my little kid inside dies a little bit. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And Rob used the word I was going to use. And you guys know me. I don't think you'd say I'm the poster boy for conservatism. But, release dates, you have to be conservative. What is the date that I am like, there is absolutely zero chance of this going wrong? Because then the benefit of that is maybe you get to surprise people, rather than constantly disappointing them with a date. And I think we knew that there was a chance, particularly with the minis. But if the books are delayed, that's bad.
And we don't know. We don't really know any of that, right?
We don't know.
To that point, it's also not great if you're having to alter the date several times.
And this all means their whole thing that we were saying, this is one of the best launches they've done. Most of it ended 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it kind of kills the hype, right? It kills the preview.
And so the hype has already tailed off. And now what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we just all sit around playing with our old fellas until it eventually arrives.
This was like a valid point Paige had in one of the chats, or I forget where it was. But
it was on the live stream with Kyle.
Okay. Yeah, talking about, you did all this preempt, hype, and then now we're waiting weeks for the game to come out. Because the sense I was is that originally their idea was that it would be in the mail right now. Our people would be getting
some
it
of the models.
November,
I think
right?
Originally the pre-order said 11/21 or something like that, but then I think most of the stuff was in early December.
What do you guys think about? I'm curious, as like an olive branch / what do you think if, even though the physical stuff gets pushed back, they go ahead and release all the armies? They do the companion stuff ahead of time.
And they could also release the digital book, right? You don't have to wait.
Push the digital stuff out, as like a good faith, type thing, so people can start building lists and looking at the rules online. What do you guys think about that?
100%. Well, I don't think they would be doing. I haven't looked into it before, but I doubt refunding pre-orders is a thing that they do anyway. So, why would there be a reason not to do something like that? And then they still might get some extra finances from some digital copies, or a few extra companion subs for a few months. I think 100% something like that.
Because people want to be playing forth. People want to be playing. They want to be testing armies. They want to be thinking about the new list construction. They want to get their teeth into the basic versus complete army list dynamics. So people want to be playing. So if you can't get the new stuff in my hands, maybe getting all the resources so people can start playing this holiday, because a lot of people have time off in the holiday, and it would be great if they can't put together new models. At least they could be testing new army lists. Or,
I mean, on the other side, I do know what would have happened then. It'd be like, oh, well, I don't have a companion now. They're treating me inequitably compared to people that have the companion. I know that whichever way they turn, there'll be a bit of, poo to hit the fan.
That's so true, Matt. Whatever you do, I feel sometimes Mantic can't win. You know what I mean? They try to do this and people complain, and they will do something else, and then the other people will complain. So that is true. I just know for me, in waiting for stuff, what would make me feel less upset about waiting for stuff, and it would be to at least start getting on Universal Battle and start playing test games, with everyone, not just the people who are on NDA for the playtest group, you know what I mean? But actually get on there and start playing and pounding games. That would be a great panacea or, antidote to the frustration of where's my stuff.
Well, the other thing with a release like that is they might actually sell some more pre-orders. Maybe they get a few extra Zerkali boxes out, or Trident Realms or something once people actually see what they're allowed to do.
No, I think it's a good idea, Mantic. Maybe think about trying to get some of the digital resources out early, confirm, because what they've said in all the articles is that the companion is supposed to release in the same window as all the physical stuff. So if the physical stuff originally were supposed to come out now, what that tells me is the companion stuff should be ready to go, right? Are soon ready to go. So why not just push that out and let people start seeing all the good stuff that's 4th edition has to offer?
And I need a date so I can plan like a party. Like, okay, 4th edition's out. We're all going to roll up on a Saturday. We're going to play some games. We're going to learn the game together. Like, I'm ready for that.
100%.
I feel the need for an army in the weekend return.
We haven't talked about this yet, guys. We need to get off our butts and do something like that. Tale of 3 gamers, army in a weekend, army challenge. We need somebody, though. We need a champion.
How would you go with that, Jeremy? I thought it might be more like leg in a weekend or something for you.
A foot. Just
an
just
arm.
a foot.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
an arm.
Just
a
the
tip,
arm.
as Matt would say.
Yeah, just the tip.
Yeah.
It'll be a high quality tip, though. High quality
look good.
tip.
It will look good. Yes.
All right. Well, should we roll straight into our community updates? So from my end, we haven't really got much happening. Although the thing that stresses me about all that talk is, we converted Clash to 4th, and when in December are we going to get it? So our registrations are open. They're slowly climbing, but the 4th delay is definitely delaying people signing up, and I think rightfully so. Rob, we've got a bit of a stitched together episode coming out where people try and cram their old army lists into the new one, and does that work? And I tell you what I found is the bit that I did with Dave Fanning. My bit is really short because I just look at it and go, no, can't do this Abyss list.
I wasn't able to do the goblin list either, and we ended up scrapping it and just starting over basically because these things are in different buckets, right? And I couldn't take maybe the amount of trombones or wingets and that kind of thing. So not to say that the new army that I created isn't going to be awesome. It feels fun.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a conversion. It's not going to be a direct port from 3.5 to 4.
I wonder actually whether one of the changes we'll see in, these books going forth. I think if we look at one thing that maybe they might consider that they got, I don't want to say wrong because I don't think it's wrong, but I think maybe a little bit too much has ended up in support rather than specialist. But we'll see. We'll see. But so not much to report here. What about you, Jeremy? Community update?
So we had our tournament the other weekend in Reno. Shout out to Nick Murray, who lent me his Northern Alliance. Super fun event. His list was very different from the list that I'm building. So it was cool. And I've really discovered with my speed and painting, having one army that I can do different things with is really great, because trying to build like, here's my grind army, here's my alpha army, it just is not going to happen. So having an army that you can do different things with, I think is really appealing to me. So playing a Northern Alliance army that he lent me that was completely different from the one I'm building was really cool. So I played that. It was interesting, right? It confirmed some thoughts that I had about 3rd edition, which who knows how that's going to transfer into 4th, which is, it was only 13 drops. So 2 elite. I think in 3rd, 13 is just two elite. And he had like double hordes of the Frostclaw Riders, which are the Ravens, which are just too fragile in 3rd, and they're too expensive points wise. But I got to play with some Hearthguard, which was new to me. I never played with them, which has inspired some hobby stuff, which you'll hear about in the hobby update. But I ended up on the top table in round 5, lost a close game to Dwarves in Control to Nick Ferrazzi. So congratulations to Nick, his first tournament win. And it was so cute. I was like watching him and I was like, I remember when I had my first beer. He's on his first top table, and he's like, good, he's doing well, and he's like never won a tournament. So it was so exciting to me to see someone who goes to all the events and has really come a long way as a player to win an event, playing a really tough dwarf army in Control, which was just, he gave me so many fits trying to figure out. But it was a close, I think it was 3-2, so pretty close, but I just didn't have the bodies by the end. But finished 4th place, so excited for that. Really great event. All the Reno tournaments are being held now. Nick Murray is a professor in like the sports. I don't know exactly what he does, but sports medicine, something like that. So the event was held in their sports complex. So it's a big, giant, empty hall. So tons of room for Reno events to grow. So very excited for them that they have a great space that is essentially free to them because Nick just uses the space. But it was interesting. It was in the same building as their pool complex. So if you walked out of the room, there's like 100 people doing diving and swim practice, which was kind of interesting. But that was super fun. Last event of 3.5, everyone was excited to go there. In general, the consensus around fourth in the crew is people are excited, but they want to see it, right? They want to get it. Again, speaking to get this stuff out, guys. People want to play. They want to see all the armies. They want to take a look at it. But in general, the vibe was super positive and a nice send-off for third edition. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, not much for me on the community front. I think the big thing that's going to happen in the near future is Dylan and I, you will have heard the episode where we kind of build some lists. I should say feebly attempt to build some lists, and we're going to play them. We've done the whole conspiracy board with the thing, with the red string and all that. We were like, these must be the movement orders, because we've basically taken the stuff I got from the Michigan GT and scraps we've been able to gather from various sources. And I'm pretty sure I'm about 90% confident this is 4th edition. So we're going to give it a go, and then we'll record our thoughts on the back end. And I guess, Matt, you and Dave, who also recorded an episode about building a list, be interested to have you guys do that as well and get your thoughts on that first 4th edition experience.
Ours was very quick because of my time poorness this week, but it was an interesting thing to do. So, I look forward to hearing yours.
Well, with that, let's take a quick commercial break. On the other side, we'll get into the hobby updates, which Jeremy has been chomping at the bit to share. We'll be right back.
Hey everybody, my name is Aubrey and you are listening to Countercharge.
Welcome back to Countercharge. And I will start with the hobby. I have none, unless I am allowed to include my massive cleanup. I have workspaces that are unbelievably... You know what, Jeremy? They're Mark Zielinski style.
Oh, gee. So post-zombie apocalypse?
For sure. I'm like, literally, I'm in that position where I might buy a model because I don't even know I have a model on my desk. There's just so much stuff. So I've got to clean it up. And Jeremy, I think you're the same way. Like, that cathartic process of cleaning up the workspace then recharges the batteries and like, okay.
Oh, it's great.
Now we're ready. And to be fair, I am really excited to paint some goblins. Mincer mobs are on the menu. Big time.
Yeah, if you're ever struggling with a little hobby mojo, but you want to get back into it, but you're not quite sure where to start, a hobby area cleanup reorg is such a great sort of tool to get the juices flowing. And it reminds you what you have, what you're working on. Because I've done that too, Rob, where I bought something that I want, and then I go to my closet and I already have it. And I'm like, oh, crap, I already bought this. I just forgot about it 6 months ago or whatever. So, but yeah, great tool to sort of get the hobby juices flowing again.
Is that 3 months in a row, Rob, with nothing? My goodness. Can we go back and redo the intro and you can say, hi, I'm Robert Duvall?
Well, we are born on the same day, so it's possible we have the same mom, right? It is possible. We can be twins, right?
Yeah.
Twinsies.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, then from my end, I'm just working on my big Griblies, 3 big salamander Sanders, a fire drake, and a couple of others of, I think I said on another episode, at least one will be a slasher. And I'm just debating whether I make the other one Rakawas or not. So, that's proceeding apace. I am confident that I shall be resplendent at the end of the year at our final episode for the year. You can cover me in glory, Rob. Make a golden STL of me. Print me in a nice shiny filament.
What have we done, Jeremy? What have we done?
The monster we've released from down under.
That's what my wife says.
I have a little story that happened at work that maybe we can turn this on Matt. So we have a guy who's pretty good at board games, and he's a little arrogant. Okay. So we were playing Legend of Draxia. So there's an expansion where you have PvP. So I told my buddy Nate, I said, Nate, here's what we're going to do. We're going to teach Victor this expansion.
He's going to learn today.
And we're both going to just pound him into the ground. We only got like 4 or 5 turns in, and he just threw his cards down, so I'm done. He walked away. So my point of this is, next year, we got to Wonder Twin this shit and be like, boo, and then just come at Matt like a spider monkey over a table.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I've never claimed to be good. Like your guys' hobby standard is much higher than mine.
Quantity is of quality all onto its own, Matt.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even paint his rocks. He just puts rocks on his face. I mean, what kind of savage?
Okay, well, just a quick hobby tip. If you're thinking of getting into dwarves, go outside, pick up a couple of rocks. You've got some little obsidian golems right there.
Brilliant. I freaking love it. Cheap.
Just dry brush that.
Don't even have to dry brush.
We're getting too hobby right now. We should probably wrap this up before
They're already
we.
painted like rocks. They were made that way outside.
What kind of savage doesn't paint their rocks?
Been a while since that chestnut's come out. Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Oldie but a goodie.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep rolling on. And not a lot of news for the fireside this month.
I got to do my hobby update.
Oh, sorry, Jerry.
They're so used to me not having any that it's just like, screw this guy.
Let's rewind. All right, Jeremy, what have you been up to in the hobby?
So a couple things. I've decided on the 3D printer I'm going to get for this holiday season. I'm going to go with the Bamboo H2S with the AMS. So I'm excited for that. That's all picked out. Now I'm doing a little bit more research on where I want to get my filament and what type of filament I should get. So any filament 3D printers out there who print a lot of terrain or basing bits or stuff, if you know of a good guide or a good resource to point me to that clearly identifies the differences in an easy, accessible way between like PLA, PLA Plus, PLA Silk, PETG. I would love a single resource that tells me all the differences of filaments. So let me know, anyone who has any suggestions there. My big takeaway for hobby, in some of the playtest games for my Northern Alliance, my 4th playtest games, I'm starting with the core of my army, which is the Ice Blade, who he unlocks half-elf berserkers as core choices. Because my original idea for my Northern Alliance army is I want a ice elf army. So I had berserkers in my 3rd edition list. I had, it was all going to be about ice elves. So I'm trying to go with that now that it's actually in the rules and not just like a theme, but now it's like a play style too. So I start with the Ice Blade, who unlocks the half-elf berserkers as core. So in my mind, if I'm going to go for if I'm going to go for 4 core unlocks, so I can then do the 4 specialists and then the 4 support, I might as well lean into the half-elf berserker thing. So I have my Ice Blade and 4 regiments of half-elf berserkers. And so then I start to look at where else can elves fit in Northern Alliance, and also what would both be thematic and also gameplay-wise. So I'm going with the 4 core of half-elf berserkers, and then my first 2 specialists are the Hearthguard, which you can take 2 of. And they're your defense 5, 20 attacks on 3s, crushing strength 2. So I think they kind of fit the footprint of the old school, like Chaos Northern Warrior, right? Big buffed armored dude. So right there, that gives me 6 units, all with tons of attacks. And my sense going in the 4th is I think volume is attack volume, the amount of dice you're rolling, I think is going to matter with how many units you can charge a facing with versus maybe a little a lack of crushing and a lowering of defense. I just have a sense that volume of dice is good. So that's sort of the core of my Northern Alliance, is starting with the Ice Blade, the 4 regiments of half-elf berserkers, and the 2 regiments of Hearthguard.
Yeah, I like that. I did find it interesting, Jeremy, and it's given that you were looking at the elves, I found it interesting that the regular elves didn't make it into the Northern Alliance list with the release. But then, you know what? I was thinking a lot of people talked about, how about this? I wonder about this. We know that some of the things that have been left out, we're saying for now. Don't we know that the second book is called Arrogance? What if that means Mantic are doing some new elves?
I think a lot of the stuff that's missing and this is not inside baseball, I think a lot of the units that are missing aren't just missing for unit reasons. I think they're missing because Mantic's releasing models for them soon.
No, I agree. And given that the next book is called Arrogance, it made me think, because I think most people went dwarves, Basalia, but I was like, well, elves are missing for Northern Alliance. What if we're going to see some elf models?
If you were to ask me, I think it's elves, it's Basalia. And my third guess would be, I don't know if they would do Twilight Kin, 2 elves in one go. Maybe dwarves, elves, and humans. Like, think about your more iconic, like, quote unquote, good guy book to have elves, dwarves, and humans, all your three core fantasy tropes in one book. I don't know.
Although if they were doing models, I'm fine. They might not want to do elves and dwarves at the same time. But then I would actually say, even though maybe it doesn't fit the arrogance theme, if they're doing that, maybe the Northern Alliance are the halflings of the second book. They just get a couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea too. In deciding that I'm going to go with this core, this berserking infantry core, infantry regiments, I think, get the most or get a lot from the new changes that they get the extra pivot. So I just have a sense I want to put my toes and play around with infantry, berserking infantry, and then in my list I have some shooting to just weaken stuff, right? But so I'm trying to decide, what do I want to use for my Hearthguard that would fit the elf theme, but this army must be absolutely 100% Mantic. I don't know how many big fantasy armies I have left in me before I am buried underneath the dirt. So I need this one to be 100% Mantic so I can say, this is my absolutely 100% Mantic army. And beyond that, I'm really trying to think outside the box creatively, like what can I use in Mantic to do my own thing, right? So I've decided to go with the half-elf berserker body and head. If you haven't seen those models, they're amazing. The Icekin Hunter version is great. The Fighty version is great. Just super quality miniature. So I start with that in my base. And then I was thinking about, okay, well, these guys need to be more armored, right? These Hearthguard are defense 5. And these elf miniatures are for defense 3 things. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I have that's icy and that's more armored? And so I took the Ice Naiad resin bits, right, that come with the Ice Naiad kit. There's a couple of really cool pieces in that. There's a shield which has like ice shards on it, and then they have a couple of to me look like Northern Alliance-y just armor bits. So I went with the Ice Naiad shield, Ice Naiad armor bits to make a shoulder pad and some other accoutrements. And then in the Ice Naiad kit, it had some of the regular Naiad bits, and they have a close combat weapon that is like a spear with a blade, almost kind of more like a sword, but it's on both sides. So it looks kind of like a batleth for those Star Trek fans. And I was like, well, a double-handed sword, Rob, that kind of speaks to crushing, right? Not just like a spear, but that would maybe work to represent that their crushing strength. So I put all that together and I built a whole regiment of them so that when I have my staycation here in a week or so in December, I'm going to be off for a few weeks, I can paint. But I'm really happy because I have a unit that I think fits my theme of the Ice Elves. It fits the unit itself, Hearthguard. It will look like a Crush 2 Defense 5 Elf Elite Special Forces type unit, but super excited about that.
Nice. That sounds awesome. Right. Well, let's this time, without cutting Jeremy out, let's keep on rolling. So not a lot of news this month, is there, at the time of recording? So we're recording, not too late this time. So, we looked at the Mantic Vault last for November in the last Fireside. So a good offering there. I actually printed some of the Tundra Wolves, and they've come out very nicely. And otherwise, nothing too much in the way of engagement. Just reminder to you guys that new reviews will help us, particularly moving into 4th edition, pushing that Kings of War content up the lists in the podcast charts. So why don't we take a quick break and we'll come back with our topic of the month.
Hi, I'm Plastic Roger. I'm listening to Cannon Chart.
And welcome back. And so this month we asked you, what's your single favourite thing you have seen so far about 4th edition? And this got the engagement going, didn't it, Robert?
Yeah, great question.
Well, why don't we answer it, right? We didn't share our answer. So, Jeremy, what is your single favorite thing so far?
It's tough because I really think the best part of 4th edition to me has been the rules updates. As far as when you see what looks really great, I think as far as the rules and having been playing some playtest games of it, to me, it feels like Kings of War, but it's just way more streamlined, lots less shenanigan nonsense. I love it. I really have been enjoying it. So in thinking about what aspect of the rules do I like, and I really I think it's a system that can be built on more, but I love the command order system. I think they're interesting. I like that I can do the same order with multiple commanders, but I just can't do it on the same unit. So it allows me to double up on some things I want to do, but you still have to make those tactical choices. And the fact that the warlords have 3 dice and are more expensive, but not only have 3 dice, they have unit strength too, right? So I think that's something that people have been sleeping on a lot as far as the up in price in heroes, now that that's officially been talked about. Characters are scenario pieces. I mean, that's amazing. My Ice Queen now is sitting on the back healing stuff, now has unit strength and can hold an objective. So to me, I will say the command orders under the umbrella of just the general hero change, having them on the bigger bases, the more scenic bases, the scenario scoring, command orders. So to me, it's to change the characters. I just absolutely love. What about you, Matt?
I think for me is the how much the army list building is going to change what we see on the table. Not just that it feels a little bit more interesting to build an army. I really hope we get some sort of companion thing that feels nice to support it. That's like interesting and makes it, easy for newer people. But I think, I'm really enjoying the change to list building, even though it means a significant shake up and maybe having to add some models or something like that. And the difference it's going to create on the table. That's what I'm enjoying. Rob?
So I won't steal either one of yours, but you guys make good choices, right? I think army building, great choice. The fact that heroes are going to be more influential on scoring in certain scenarios, as well as the way the commands work. But I'm going to pick something different, and I'm just going to say it like this. I picked something different. I like that they brought logic back to the game in the sense of, like, it feels correct. Sticky combat for me is my answer, right? It just makes sense, as Jeremy would say.
Insert clip here.
What you're saying just makes sense.
You're in the melee. You're in the scrum. You're not going to look to the right and go, hey, we can charge this other unit. Because as soon as you do it, and I know, they're going to say, it's fantasy, it's abstraction. Yes, I know. But you break my immersion when I turn to the right and the person runs down the battle line into another unit. In real talk, you would have been destroyed because you just gave up your flank to another unit and they would have just pounded you in the ground. So for me, sticky combat.
Yeah. Is this combat or the Rocky Horror Show? We're not taking a step to the right and putting our hands on our hips. That's crazy talk.
Matt, you're not old enough to even know that or see that. Did you see that in the movie theater? Like when it was played, like in the 30th anniversary or something? I'm
a thespian from way back, Robert. I'm a cultured man.
Did you play the part of the Meatloaf character in the movie?
No.
Or were you Dr. Frankenweenie? Is that his name?
I do have experience with a Frankenweenie, but that's not the Rocky Horror one.
I don't know if it was Frankenweenie. I can't remember, but I haven't seen it in since high school. Yes.
My Rocky Horror Picture Shows are not safe for public PG radio. So.
My Rocky Horror Picture Show is my dog on the carpet.
Yeah. I just thank the Lord there wasn't smartphones with cameras when I was a teenager.
Oh, boy, right?
That's all I have to say.
I bet you Jeremy's up there doing the thing where they're spinning the globe in front of the screen, dressed. I can see it now.
Well, I was in the theater and I was doing something, but it wasn't spinning globes.
I know. It's thank goodness we were before the day of those easy recording devices, right? Yeah. Well, let's roll into these comments. All right. First up, we've got Constantine Mann. No more 1-inch rule is Constantine's favorite thing.
Kevin Cook is up next. I have to say, it's been the new force structure. It will make new puzzles for the player to solve, new combos, and such.
Next, we got feedback from Mark Otley. Just one, he asks. 6 train maps in the actual rulebook, followed by simplified multi-charging, clearer unit profiles, ditching concealed, obscured. Oh, that's a great one.
That's an interesting thing, isn't it? Maps in the rule book. We saw it with terrain and stuff. People would ask for it. That's something that I've never understood why people need that, stipulated for them. Like, I know it's nice, but yeah, that's one thing I've never quite got. Daniel Bryan, my snap answer was going to be TC3 core knights. I reckon this is just a way for Daniel to say multiple things. You cheeky bugger, Daniel. Yeah. Read the post. But I'm really hoping Feint proves viable on the tabletop. I'd proposed something similar last summer to some friends because, like Cav or Cav in general, really didn't really feel like Cav in the game. Hopefully, this makes them back into a wrecking ball worthy of the term, able to swing back for a turn, then pile back in.
Next up, we have Mr. Kyle Timberlake. Removal of the waiver value and removal of being wavered once in combat. So that's great. That's another big one we didn't talk about. Just you're no longer wavered, right? In most cases, typically going to happen in shooting or during the withdrawal rule. So,
Okay, next we have Jeremy Altman. It's a small thing, but I used to hate seeing mounted individuals set up on the deployment line sideways, right? So you would get that extra half an inch. It just didn't look cinematic. So I like the larger square base for individuals, more modeling opportunities too. Yeah, couldn't agree. See, great Jeremys think alike. So
Next up, I've got the dodgy bugger, Dave Fanning. All the rage on Facebook over changes that people haven't got the full context for is his favourite thing. People need to remember we also get sweet new minis to look at, like fat dragons and wheelbarrows.
we need to make a hobby commitment for next year about building some new armies. And I have to do halflings, dude. Those models are so awesome. Like the How to Train Your Dracon.
Yes, yeah.
The fat Dracon sitting in the wheelchair with a piece of meat in front of him, so he's blowing, trying to cook it. Oh my god,
I love
dude.
it.
So
I love it.
awesome. Next up, we've got Harald. And he says 50 millimeter hero bases, only because I'm dumb to understand the other stuff. That LOL. And there's a Kali book and lore.
we got the return of the Squirmin' Vermin. Withdraw and feint rules. In 3rd edition, I love marching my chaff through my own units to block double charging, disengaging, sliding, backing up, etc. It's like a shell game with rat swarms, infantry troops, and rattling guns. It was a great way to relieve injured units, give them a chance to get healed, and then recycle that back in. Now there are actual mechanics in play that allow me to do that. I love it.
And Paul Collins, the new organisation structure. So the army list, I really like that the building blocks of armies are standard troop choices and not elite options.
Next up, we have Ross Navallo. Shooting changes have been needed for a long time, but halfling changes were a bit over the top. So he's taking a different approach to something he doesn't like. But
Boo.
I will say, I think the halflings are going to be fine.
Yeah, when Dave rebuilt a halfling list and everything, and as I was sitting there, I was like, I could actually build a bent shooting list with these now if I wanted, and I think they could anyway. I don't think that's changed.
Shooting's still good. A lot of people are poo-pooing, man. It's still good.
Don't poo-poo on the Cheerios, man.
Don't do it. My friend Mike Rossi, remover of the old withdrawal rule. Yes.
Sterling Netchlaw, the new halfling models. The tubby dragon flamethrower is peak.
Jesse Garrett. You know what, guys? I think I get Jesse Garrett every time. So it's just kismet. But Jesse Garrett says, I like the concept of different warlords unlocking different flavors of list building, like Roria being the character unlocks Rory in Kingdoms of Men, for example.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, by the way, guys, did you guys see that the list is not called Riftforge Orcs? It's just called Orcs now?
I did.
So who absorbed who?
Because didn't we say Riftforge Orcs should just be the orcs in of Panathor? Wasn't that us who said that?
I assumed they'd go the other way, that use their IP name and roll the orcs in. Yeah.
But great idea, though. I mean, those are orcs in Panathor, are Riftforge. Makes sense. Next, we have Tyler Schultz. He says, this dude, who I'm not sure what this guy is in the Zerkali.
He's the Zerkali champion from the Champions box, and he's called the Prowler.
The Prowler. What an awesome. This is one of my favorite all-time Mantic models. So good.
No, you didn't say it right, Jeremy. Say it correctly.
So good. It just makes sense. I love it.
By the way, Jeremy and Matt, I was thinking about maybe providing some ringtone opportunity because I have all that stuff, right? I was just thinking about that. So
sorry, I can't come to the phone right now. I'm in the milieu of opportunity.
Oh, we could actually. I know you'd have lots of clips, Rob, but if we took some of the favorites, we could do proper ringtones of them. That would be, that release them.
We'll do that.
Please riff at the beep. Riff at the beep.
Yeah. I can now just see you after that line of phones going off and going, I just got punched in the googlies. Make it your message tone.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tyler also says, and not deliberately slamming into walls on otherwise open charges. So the ability now that you can maneuver around obstacles.
Although shame, Tyler, that's 2. Jonathan Watch, excited for everything. Big meta shakeups might give us players at the low tables a fighting chance as everyone else is also adjusting. Also, I like a lot of the narrative flavor I'm seeing.
Jason Murray says, excited for the salamanders and the new list building mechanic.
Merrick Vlaha? I apologize if I say your last name wrong. There are lots of very promising stuff, but I guess my favorite one is the army composition. I hope it helps fielding armies more similar to the pictures in the rulebook rather than super elite monster heavy forces like we've seen in Kings before. Yeah, great point.
Patch Adams, the theming of armies based on the warlords. It just feels like the armies will have more character rather than just picking bland generic stuff based on efficiency and performance.
And the next three are all halfling related, so let's knock them out. Eddie Barr says halflings are looking fine. Danny Graves says fat dragon in a wheelchair. Chef's kiss. And Mo says fat dragon, my beloved. I'm telling you, these models are awesome, and I don't think there's many people that disagree.
We got Idiot Proof Dalek talking about the powering down of incremental, overcomplicated, and power bloated units. 10 years of Kings of War books and the removal of some that are only there for legacy.
Steve Evans, the new army constitution is definitely top on my list, plus really looking forward to the supplemental books.
We've got Thomas saying, great simplifying how to charge and align to individuals.
Yes. Next up, we got Rory Quinn. Interesting that list building changes are so frequently mentioned. I don't disagree, but I thought they were more contentious. I like the base changes for individuals. Probably some progression of the overarching lore narrative Panathor will be positive too, so that evolving world. So, great point.
Dan Zaremski, cover change. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, Dan.
David Musgrave says list building changes followed by withdraw/faint mechanics. Those are good. Those are good picks.
The Silver Fox himself, Mr. John Green Jr., the death knell of the wretched 1-inch rule.
Next up, we've got Mr. Nick Brooks. He says that Mantic is committed to slowly filling in their ranges with either new models or digital releases. I think this is an amazing opportunity for them.
Matthew Schenker, we got the new withdrawal rules.
Next up, we have Tristan Gower. Hoping I say that right. Stormslayer's getting improvements. I really enjoy the model and the idea of mini giants.
Dylan Scribner, friend of the show. List building for me. The list building alone will pique the interest of more non-Kings of Warrior players in his opinion. So great point, Dylan.
Garrett Kunkel, the new withdrawal rule for me, coupled with the general lack of wavering. Nothing felt worse than having a chaff piece waver and delay an entire wing by at least a turn.
Next up, we have Stian Westvig. I don't know if I was even close, but I hope I was. Based on the open day playtest, it's still fun to play.
Yeah, Ian Kane, it being harder for shooting alone to remove units. Yeah, still part of good lists, I think, but shooting alone, tougher to take units off the board.
Scott Bradley, change to withdraw.
Scott Sallee, halflings can field 2 greedy guts. And you guys, just a refresher, Scott was the one in our army challenge a few years ago that went crazy big with a halfling army. So, yeah.
One of the Temple brothers, Matthew Temple, the rules for charges, it simplifies so much and allows for more common sense when charging.
Marshall Temple, undead dropped mummies. Let EOD have them. Give us something new.
So next up we have Paul Forbes. He says more limited army structure to prevent that guy taking the piss with their ultimate skew list.
Yeah. We got the Mecha Sturgeon, a committed focus to expanding the lore with models, artwork, and books. Looking forward to the scheduled releases. Makes the game feel alive.
And local man Christopher Harper, the new edition shows a concentrated effort to clean up / simplify the rules, removing gotcha moments that, and I'm sure others found frustrating when learning the game. And I'm sure others found frustrating when learning the game. And, Chris, alignment of all the units and point costs towards a common starting point under their new algorithm. While I feel a bit of the flavour of the armies has been lost in doing so, I think it will create a well-balanced platform for each army to be built up off for the new edition.
Eloquently captures what I feel as well.
And we're going to be, as we go into podcast updates, Rob, we're going to be having a show with Mr. Jonathan Quayle shortly, who was one of the playtesters and sort of one of the key minds behind the new points formula. So make sure you take a listen to that episode because we're going to be getting into all the gritty details of how things are pointed and balanced in the new edition. So that's going to be a fun episode to listen to, I think.
Yeah, and we've got lots more 4th edition coverage coming. Not really any previews, but more about, our first games, that kind of thing. And we will resume list builders and army reviews, when we are ready to do that. The army reviews, we got to get some plays under our belt.
I was going to say, do people need to review their algebra, Jeremy, before listening to the episode with Mr. Quayle?
Yeah, it's like get your abacus out, right? Get your Euclides, Sophocles, Pericles, all the Cleeses.
Heinrich Schliemann.
Heinrich Schliemann, all the Cleeses, all the Schliemans, everything you need to know, your Da Vinci codes.
Put an apple on your head.
Yeah, your conundrums wrapped inside an enigma, encircled by a riddle. We're going to get into all that stuff. So
yeah, review your quantum mechanics,
string theory, chaos theory. Watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah, don't forget you can help the show by giving us a review on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, wherever you listen to us, and share the show with other people that might be interested. It's a great way to get a new player into the community, and it helps the show grow. So if you are interested in contributing to the show, please reach out to me on Facebook. We're always looking for some new ideas and show topics. Just be forewarned, we will probably drag you in a la Jeremy.
All right, let's give you guys the topic of the month and we'll post it when this goes live. What hobby-related item do you want for the holidays? What is Santa going to leave in your little sack under the tree?
Jeremy, what are you hoping for?
One of my big things is Santa Stacy delivers my always gets me on Christmas 4 or 5 Raphael Da Vinci A404s, and they've lasted me the whole year. I still have a couple left from what she got me last Christmas. So as far as like hobby, that's probably my most important, most wished hobby resource is the size 2 A404, which the Raphael size 2 A404. It's the best first, last. In all things brushes, 98% of what I paint is with that one single brush. So that's what I'm excited for. What about you?
For me, I just need to replace my air compressor for the airbrush because it like you were talking about before. I haven't hit any, not a lot of hobby. It's really hampered me because I obviously base coat, paint terrain, clear coat with the airbrush, and I haven't had it in several months.
Yeah, and for me, I'm not a big what's under the tree kind of person, actually. I'm just like...
you just buy it for yourself. It never gets under the tree.
Well, yeah. Like, and then I have to say what I want, No, I can just buy that.
Do you just buy what you want? Does your wife do the same thing?
I was going to say and make Rob edit it out.
And well, you just did, so there you go.
Yeah. No, but I actually don't know this year. I have not had time to think about it. Do you know what? Some air paints, because I've been using the airbrush. So I think getting into some Army Painter air paints would be nice. Yeah. All right. So we might wind up there. I don't think we've got anything else to add. Anything else, Jeremy?
Just, I'm excited, hopefully Santa Ronnie is listening to our Christmas request of at least getting the stuff out digitally early as a great olive branch and gentle, warm hug to the community. So please do that, Santa Ronnie. Other than that, let's continue to get excited for 4th. Treat each other well. December is a National Jeremy Hug Month. So if I see you, you will be hugged. And yeah, any other final thoughts, Robbo?
Now, for me, just hope everybody has if you're living in the United States, we're coming up on Thanksgiving here. So hopefully you're listening to this as you're traveling to your loved one's home for a big fat turkey dinner, in another country. You guys don't have Thanksgiving in Australia, right? No, that's not
a thing.
But Black Friday's probably made it though, right?
I don't think anyone knows what the hell it is, but there's sales. Yeah. Thanks, Amazon. Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed that show. We always enjoy bringing you our firesides. It's our favorite show to record, I think, and a lot of feedback generally about it's one of your favorites to listen to. I always enjoy getting on here with my Countercharge family. So hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep countercharging.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Countercharge. Please let us know what you thought of the show by emailing us at counterchargepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at countercharge15, or by commenting on the Countercharge Kings of War podcast Facebook group. If you enjoy the show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. Until next time, keep countercharging. Music is a composition of Kevin MacLeod and is licensed under Creative Commons.
Yeah.
All right, ready? Welcome to Countercharge. I'm Rob Enough.
I'm Matt Croger.
And I am Jeremy Duvall. Welcome.
Oh, we gotta do that again, Jeremy. That was that welcome was like weak, dude.
Bad.
It was so weak.
Okay, let's go again.
All right. Plus, I messed up mine too, so we'll do it again.